Hi, everyone. Welcome to the presentation. I'm Kristen from the Work Bigger team, and we're very excited that you're here. This session is for you, so I'm going to ask that you turn off any distractions, close your emails, put your phone on silent. The more present that you are and the more engaged that you are, the more that you're going to get out of this presentation. And I'd just love to introduce you to Work Bigger. Work Bigger is a career coaching platform for dissatisfied high achievers who want to find their purpose. And before I started working with Work Bigger, I was burnt out. I was working nonstop. I liked my jobs, and on paper I was successful, but I felt like there was always something missing. And during this time, I found Work Bigger, and I started working as a client of Velma's. So I went through the process that you're about to learn, and it completely changed my life and my career in so many incredible ways. So I'm excited for you to learn it as well. And I joined the Work Bigger team last year, and I'm really honored to be able to help guide you on this journey. And now I'd like to introduce Velma. Velma McCaffrey is the CEO and founder of Work Bigger, and she's a leadership and career coach. She's trained as a coach with the Neuro Leadership Institute, which means that she integrates neuroscience and leadership development. Her work has been featured in Forbes, Fortune, Thrive, and other media platforms. And with that, welcome, Velma.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much, Kristen, for the kind introduction. I'm really excited to be here today and welcome everyone to today's class, How to Find Work You Love, even when you have no idea what you want to do. So just tell me quickly, I want to make sure everybody can hear me and see me okay. So just let me know in the chat, give me like a quick okay. Yeah, say I can hear you, I can see you, and then we can move on. So this class is for you if you know that you have something big to accomplish in this world, but you're struggling to make your dreams happen. So tell me in the comments if this sounds like you. You're confused about what path to take, and you're constantly doubting yourself. You find yourself going in circles, right? Maybe you have options, but when you explore these options, you're right back to where you start, right? Maybe you're thinking, I should do X. Like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, but wait, maybe I should do Y. That sounds like a good idea too, right? But what if I can't do X or Y, right? Maybe I should stay where I am. So you're really going in circles often. You also have ruminating thoughts, and your mind is often racing, which really leaves you feeling exhausted and burned out. And when this happens, right, you're not making progress. You're just in your head. So I'm going to pause right here. Let me know in the comments, how is this resonating? Does this sound like you? Yeah, I see. Yes, it does. It sounds exactly like me. You're speaking to me. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and where you're at. So if this is hitting home for you, you are definitely in the right place. In the next 45 minutes, you're going to learn the one thing that's keeping you caught in career limbo that nobody's talking about. And it's this hidden secret that affects every human being, right? But when you understand it, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to create a super clear career vision that motivates you and inspires you and drives you to really activate your true potential. You're going to discover why you're self-sabotaging and how to upgrade negative thoughts and feelings with powerful new constructive ones. You're going to learn a step-by-step process that's helped hundreds of my clients discover their true purpose, change careers, start businesses, find jobs that really light them up. And finally, I'm going to show you the next steps that you need to take to overcome your fear and confusion and replace it with confidence and clarity. All right, so let me know. Right? Are you ready to take your power back? If you are, say yes in the comments. Let me know. How is this resonating with you all? I see yes with lots of exclamation points. Awesome. Great. All right, so who am I and why should you listen to me today? All right, so as Kristen said, I'm Velma. I'm a leadership and career coach and the CEO and founder of Work Bigger. Work Bigger is a career coaching platform where dissatisfied high achievers come to find their purpose. I'm also the creator of the Mindset Intensive method. To date, we've helped hundreds of members and clients find their purpose, and we see them launching businesses, negotiating significant raises and promotions, landing new jobs, writing books, and so much more. I'm a certified coach with the Neuro Leadership Institute. So what that means is that we integrate neuroscience and psychology into all of our trainings. I have more than 10 years experience in corporate America, working in strategy and business development roles at companies like the Associated Press, Condé Nast, and Group M, and I'm also a mom to 2 amazing little boys. After working with so many clients on finding their purpose, I discovered one thing, that getting clear on what you want is impossible when you have so much self-doubt and your mind is racing all the time. All right, so let's take a moment to talk about self-doubt. What is it exactly? All right, let's start with the word doubt. The definition of doubt is a feeling of uncertainty or a lack of conviction, right? It can also mean to fear. So if we have self-doubt, right, it's this feeling of uncertainty, lack of conviction, or fear of ourselves, right? It means in a nutshell that you don't trust yourself, right? You don't believe that you have what it takes and that you're capable of creating what you want. Right, and that brings up a lot of big feelings, right? Feelings of not good enough, maybe feeling scared or sad or helpless, right? So I'm curious, does anyone here feel those things, right? And it's okay to be honest about it, right? I want to highlight you're not alone. This is the work that I do every single day, right? So if that's you, just say that's me in the chat. Yeah, I see. Yes, I feel that. Thank you so much for sharing that and just for being honest about where you're at. All right, so let's go back to doubt. When you're experiencing doubt about your career path or your purpose, right, the mind likes to play a fun game. Instead of addressing the root cause, right, of your self-doubt or your lack of trust, it fixates on the what, right? So you're sitting with questions like, what should I focus on? What should I do with my life? What should my plan be? Right? Should I do A, B, or C? Right? There's so many options. Which one should I pick? And suddenly you find yourself flip-flopping from idea to idea, thinking that if you can just find the right opportunity, right, or the right industry or the right job, that the confidence is going to come sweeping back in. Right? But it never does. Instead, this flip-flopping chips away at your self-trust, right? And what happens is that you feel totally lost and totally stuck, right? So curious, let me know in the comments how this is landing for you so far. And if you tend to experience this flip-flopping that I'm talking about. All right, so let's talk about the root. What creates all of the self-doubt and the confusion that you're feeling, right? What's keeping you in your mind with all the racing thoughts? Right? Why don't we trust ourselves more? And more importantly, like, how do we break the cycle that we're in? Right? So now I want to make sure you take out a pen and a paper. I'm going to share a framework with you that's really powerful, and I want to make sure that you write it down. Right? So here is the introduction to the 3 selves. When you were a baby, right, you were born believing that all of your needs were going to be met. Right? And you were very open about your needs, right? So let's think back to like at this stage in all of our lives, right? You think when I cry, someone's going to come feed me. When I reach out, someone's going to hold me, right? There's no fear or worry that that something will or will not happen. You just simply trust. It's how we're all born, right? This is your healthy self. The healthy self is this part of you that can just easily express your needs, right? It's the part of you that feels connected and worthy. And this part really has no reason to hold any self-doubt, right? When you feel happy, you express yourself. When you feel sad, you express yourself. When you feel angry, you express yourself. There's no fear or worry that if you do these things, something will or will not happen to you. Right? There's no fear of rejection, no fear of failure. It just doesn't exist. Right? So this is how you were born. This is your natural, healthy state. Right? Which is like quite beautiful. But as we get older, something happens to us. Right? Maybe one day you cry and your caretaker doesn't come. right? Or you have a sibling and they take your toy, right? And then you feel powerless to stop it. Or you try to do something and you can't get it right and an adult scolds you, right? In these moments, whatever that moment is, doesn't have to be some big trauma. It could be something as simple, somebody taking a toy from you and you feel powerless in that moment. The sense of safety, the sense of trust and enoughness is shattered, right? And suddenly this new identity, a second self is born. And that is the wounded self. The wounded self is the little girl or the little boy or person inside all of us that can feel unsafe, powerless, fearful, or ashamed. And this part is very sensitive and raw, right? It's the part of us that tends to feel very big emotions. Maybe it has intense sadness or shame or fear. It's really, really fragile, right? And exposing it to the world would feel dangerous and scary. So what happens? To protect this wounded self, a third self is born, and that's the survivor self. And the survivor has one job, which is to keep the wounded self from experiencing that pain again, right? And it creates safety by doing several different things, right? It can avoid taking risks, working really hard to make sure that you're pleasing others, right? And that you get that love and acceptance, procrastinating, right? Maybe spending hours watching Netflix instead of working on your to-do list because it feels safer and easier than doing the scary thing, right? So as you continue to grow up, what happens is the survivor self gets bigger and bigger. And now here you are as an adult, and the survivor self is running 95% of your life experiences, right? And you don't even know it. This is actually happening in the subconscious mind. In the meantime, your healthy self has gotten pushed further and further away, right? And that part still exists. It's still there, but you can't seem to reach it. And maybe it even whispers to you from a distance, right? But you've lost that touch, that connection with it. And this is why you feel so confused. This is where the self-doubt comes from, because ultimately you have this inner conflict between your two selves. There's your healthy self that trusts and believes and has deep wisdom, and then the survivor self that wants to protect you from experiencing any wounds, right? So even if you know what you want to do with your career, with your life, your survivor part won't allow you to take action. That part of you doesn't want to be at the top, doesn't want you to be at the top of your game, right? This part will always cause you to question your ability to do it because its job is to keep you safe, right? All it wants to do is keep you from re-experiencing that wound that you experienced when you were a child. Famous psychologist Franz Rupert calls this process of self-separation the three selves. And it is this split that causes this inner conflict that we have that underlies all of your self-doubt, right? So I'm going to take a quick pause right here. Just tell me in the comments, how is this resonating? Do you see that, how this inner conflict is caused by these two parts of you that are essentially pulling you in different directions, right? Should I do this or should I do that? I'm going to take a quick sip of water. All right, so let's talk about how the survivor self impacts your career, right? Here's what I see happening. You're moving from job to job, hoping to find the right one. This is my career path. Actually, this is what my career path looked like for about a decade. I spent all of my 20s feeling really driven and ambitious. And I knew I had this voice inside me that said, I want to do this thing, right? I wasn't necessarily clear on what that was, but at the same time, I felt really disconnected from my work. And what I would do is I would blame the jobs. I'd say, oh, it's not the right job, so I'm just going to leave and I'm going to find another one. Meanwhile, I was wasting time and money, right? And the next job never fixed things for me because I wasn't getting to the root of the problem. And eventually I said, okay, I'm going to go back to business school. But that didn't do it either, right? It was really just a part of the cycle. It was a Band-Aid solution. I was not addressing the root. Another impact is you're getting paid less than you're worth, right? So I see this all the time. You're not negotiating for more money or raising your hands for more opportunities. You're staying small or hiding, right? So if you find yourself like not raising your hand in meetings, not speaking up. There's like something holding you back. There's a fear, right? There's a concern of what will they think? What will they say? How will I look, right? This is a survivor self-career impact. You find yourself steeped in workaholism, right? So your self-worth comes from your work and what you produce, right? So there's this thought with that. The harder I work, the faster I'll arrive, right? And you're so focused on the end goal that you work so hard, and eventually this just leads to burnout. This doesn't get you to where you want. And in fact, the process becomes really, really exhausting. You make decisions because of what others think, right? So you choose a path because you're afraid of letting others down. I'll share another personal example here. I'm a refugee. I was born in a small country in Eastern Europe called Albania. And I moved here with my family when I was 8. And I thought, you know, with all the work that my parents did to get us to this place, I thought if I leave my corporate job and I take a pay cut temporarily, I'm going to disappoint my family, right? And everything that they envisioned for me. That was a huge thing that really pulled at me. And also my friends are going to think I'm strange, like nobody's going to understand. So my sense of belonging felt really threatened. And I was making decisions for a long time to please those around me instead of myself. You also have interpersonal conflicts with team members or family, right? And what I see when we're operating from our survivor self, right, is that you're not happy, right? Because you're hiding your healthy self. So naturally, you don't show up as your best self, right? And your team doesn't get the best version of you. Your family doesn't get the best version of you, right? Healthy self-careers, on the other hand, are aligned with our values. They feel exciting and they're driven by joy and trust and higher order desires. And here's what healthy self-careers look like. Right? You move through your career path with intentionality. If you're not landing the perfect job right away, that's okay, right? Because you know the purpose of that job, right? Maybe it's a stepping stone into something else. You have a vision, you know where you're going, right? Or maybe it's helping you pay the bills and you feel grounded in that, right? Maybe you're gaining a new skill. Do you notice, like, do you sense that difference, right? There's a sense of grounding there. Like, you know what you're doing. There's no need for the self-doubt and the questioning. Healthy self-careers, right? You also ask for more money. You know your value. You're clear on what you have to offer and you ask for it with confidence. There's no questioning yourself. You know that you're more than your job, so you can balance your personal life and your work life, right? And with this, you're not just focused on the end goal. You are actually enjoying the process and you're able to find balance, right? And you can take a break and you can say no to opportunities. Because honestly, life is more than just work. We work with a lot of high achievers here, and at the end of the day, they really also want to enjoy the process. Life is more than just work, right? And you make decisions from a place of confidence and conviction when you're operating from your healthy self. You can say hell yes or hell no to opportunities that come your way, right? You can feel that strength and that sense of grounding in your bones. And you show up for the people you care about, and you surround yourself with people who support you, right? And what I want to say about this is that the work we do and our joy has a direct impact on those around us. And when you feel good, those around you feel that, right? And they get the best version of you. And that matters. That has an impact, right? So let's go back to the one thing that's got you stuck right now. How do you overcome confusion and gain clarity with what you should do next? All right, let's talk about that. You have to disarm the survivor self and integrate the three selves to solve this inner conflict that you're experiencing. Right? When you do this, you're no longer trapped in the self-sabotaging cycles, right? You can see clearly and you can take action from your healthy self, right? No more ruminating thoughts. No more being stuck in your head. So here are the 3 secrets to disarming the survivor self. 1, you want to understand what triggers the wound itself, right? What are your core wounds, right? So for example, I'll share another personal example here. One of my biggest wounds comes from rejection, right? So this came from an experience that I had as a child moving to the United States. When I moved here, I didn't speak English. I also loved school and learning. So I was immediately the class nerd and the refugee, the foreigner, the kid in ESL, right? And for many years, I experienced a lot of bullying, right? And rejection in school. I would try things and it was just one thing after another, right? So I know that when I put myself out there, whatever that thing is, right there, I have to be aware of this core wound, right? Even doing this talk, I risk that core wound being triggered, but I'm aware of it. I'm prepared for it, right? I'm still here. I'm showing up today, right? So knowing these core wounds is really powerful because you know then what makes you feel most vulnerable. You can set boundaries around it. You can work to heal that. You can process that, right? And you know what's going to trigger the survivor self to come out. Right, so this is the first secret. The second secret is you want to identify your survivor strategies. What are the things that you do to keep yourself safe and to protect your wounded self? Right? Is it avoidance? Is it procrastination? Is it doing the safe thing? Right? So once you know what your survivor strategies are, you have more power. Right? You can choose something different. You don't have to choose avoidance. You can choose instead to face the thing that's scaring you, right? So one of my core survivor strategies is perfectionism. So to help avoid the rejection that I mentioned, right? I'll work on doing everything perfectly, right? I'm going to host a perfect class. I'm going to be a perfect coach. I'm going to host a perfect program, right? And what happens is that if I let the survivor strategy run the show, this can really hold me up, right? It can keep me stuck. It zaps my energy. It makes me feel terrible. There's no such thing as perfectionism. Like there's no such thing. So really, it's just me spinning my wheels, trying to reach something that is completely unattainable, right? And I think it's important to highlight when you are in your survivor strategy, you're operating from a place of fear versus a place of growth and possibility. Your healthy self operates from a place of growth and possibility, right? So do you want to choose decisions to make, do you want to make decisions, right, from a place of fear and pain, or do you want to lean into trust, right? Let me know in the comments what's coming up for you. Now, let's talk about the third strategy, or the third secret, right? The third secret is to rebuild trust in your healthy self. Remember that the healthy self is that voice deep down that tells you that you're ready for a change. It's the voice underneath the survivor self. And I bet it's the voice that brought you here on this class today, right? And the best way to rebuild trust in your healthy self is through massive action, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about massive action and what it is. Massive action allows you to consistently keep going and learning. And it's what breaks the cycle of self-doubt, right? And massive action tends to feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's different than passive action. Passive action are things like, I'm going to read this book and I'm going to, learn this thing that'll maybe get me to my next step. Massive action is uncomfortable. And the more massive action you take, the more data you can accumulate, the more experience you have, right? And that allows the self-doubt to dissipate, right? Because now your brain has different experiences and data to work with. It has proof of what you're capable of, right? That's how you accumulate different results for yourself. So now I'm going to show you the exact 4-step process that I use with my clients to break the cycle of doubt that I'm talking about and build a career from your healthy self, right? That you absolutely love. So introducing the mindset intensive method. The mindset intensive method has 4 steps. So again, take out a pencil and a paper if you haven't already, and just take some notes here. The first step is awareness, right? If you don't know what's stopping you, how can you possibly go forward, right? You want to shed light on the core wounds and the survivor strategies that are holding you back. Why? Right? Because with awareness, there's power. With awareness, you can make a different choice. So for example, once you learn that something is bad for you, right, you then have the power to choose something different. And making different choices leads to different results, right? So tell me in the comments, do you all see that? Right? The second step is rewire. You want to rewire your mind to operate from your healthy self. And that means you want to shift to empowering beliefs and you want to lean into trust. You want to upgrade your thinking, right? Sometimes you know that something is bad for you and it's still very hard to choose the better thing because you have deeply ingrained beliefs about yourself, right? But once you hold empowering beliefs, making a change feels so much easier. Like you have a stronger foundation, right? Then it doesn't feel forced and like you have to slog through it, right? So do you all see that? Do you all see the importance of the rewiring part? All right, the next step is take massive action. Why? Right, I'm going to say it again. Action is what allows you to collect the data and gain the experience that you need that gives you the confidence in yourself. Confidence comes from experience, right? That experience, you have to be engaged in the process, right? And again, it's not just any action. This action has discomfort, right? It pushes you out of your comfort zone and it allows you to create new habits. This means doing something different than what you're already doing, right? This is behavior change, right? So imagine taking massive action on your goals. Like, how would that feel, right? Taking massive action every day, getting different results. And then step 4, you make it last. You create an ongoing habit. Why? This continues to make stepping into your healthy self more easeful and more integrated, right? You don't want to do this one day and then you stop the next day, right? It takes time for habits to really accumulate, right? And to be ingrained, right? So the more integrated you are, the more that you can live your life from this healthy place consistently, right? And that means you're taking risks, you're asking for more money, you're asking for promotion, you're not worrying about what other people think, right? You're making decisions because it feels good for you. Right? So to get the results that you want, there has to be consistency, right? So let me know in the comments, like, do you see why this is so important? So here's what happens when you do this, right? You're building the life and the career that you want. You're earning more money. You're more intentional with your time. You're more at peace. You're more connected to yourself. And you're making an impact. Not just by the work that you're doing. Yes, you're doing that, right? You're landing the job that you want, but also by how you're showing up for your loved ones and for your team and those around you, right? That makes a difference. So I'd love to share now a couple of work bigger stories just to show you the power of this process. This is one of my clients, Nina, and Nina sent me a long list of all the things that she accomplished after she applied this method. She found her purpose. She cleaned up her resume. She signed up for a neuroscience certification program. She said no to a role that she didn't want. So think about the energy that she saved and the time and the power in that, right? She modified a role that she was offered. She pitched a new role, right? She modified it. And it resulted in this. It resulted in her getting the job and a 40% pay bump. It's amazing. I'm so proud of her. And this is Daniela. Daniela is one of my members from Colombia, and she's been very successful at her company. She, became partner, did all the things, right? It was like super successful on paper, but she's known for a long time that she's wanted more. She's had like her healthy self has been pulling her in a different direction. So after she applied this method, she started working on her novel and she won a scholarship for graduate school in Europe. And she is now pursuing her writing career. It's really inspiring and just so incredible to watch my clients take that massive action and to listen to the thing that's pulling them on the inside, right? And to choose what they want for themselves. So do you all see how impactful this is? Right, so I'm going to take a quick pause right here. Let me know in the comments, how is this landing? And I'm going to take a quick sip of water. I see, yes, thank you so much for sharing this. This resonates. I've been in a job that I don't like for many years, and I'm trying to make a change. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, that's why you're here. So you are in the right place. And I hope seeing this method is just shedding some light on what's possible for you and that there is a solution. You don't need to be stuck in that place for so long. Okay, awesome. So now I want to talk about you, right? Now you have a choice. Remember, we said that you're here because you know that you have something big to accomplish in this world, but you're struggling to make your dreams happen. Right? So you can continue on this process, right, that we've talked about of slogging through your goal, right? Living from that survivor self, being stuck in your mind with the ruminating thoughts, right? You can continue with that exhaustion and that burnout. I know how time and energy draining that is, right? Or you can let that go. You can put that to the side. You can get out of the survivor self. Right? And you can do this in a healthy way, right? You can connect to your healthy self and start operating completely differently, right? You can transform that fear to possibility. It's there. It's already there, right? You can fully step into your confidence, right? And you can see yourself taking action and get the energy and momentum from that, right? And you can remember what it's like to trust yourself, right? To go back to that healthy self, right? To believe in yourself, right? To speak your needs, to set boundaries, to say hell yes or hell no, right? And to know as you're doing that that is you stepping into your full potential, right? And without sounding cheesy, right? We hear this all the time, but the world truly does need that. It needs that healthy part of us to step forward and to lead. That's what this work is about. That's what this is asking you to do. Right? So with that, this is your chance, right? I want you to take a moment here. And this is really important. I want you to ask yourself, do you want to continue on the survivor path or do you want to step into your healthy self? Right? Tell me in the comments. And I want to say it's really important that you say this out loud. So if you're in your room right now or in your office, I want you to say this out loud. Yes, I'm ready to step into my healthy self. Because that's important and there's energy in that. And that matters. Okay. So on the one hand, you can hang up from this masterclass, right? And that's fine. You can go back to what you were doing before, or you can choose something different, right? You can start on this process of creating more awareness, rewiring your mind, taking action, and creating habits that truly serve you, right? Yes, I see in the comments, healthy self, healthy self, healthy self. Awesome. Yes, say it out loud. There is energy in that. I see, yes, I want to choose something different. Awesome. Yes, I'm glad to hear you claiming that. So if this sounds exciting to you, then here's what I have for you today. For the next few days, my team and I, Kristen here, who you met, have set aside some time to speak personally with those of you who are ready to take action. So Kristen, if you can please share the link with everyone, make sure everyone can see it. So here's what we're going to do on this call. We're going to get real about what's going on in your life and in your career. And we're going to help you figure out exactly what it is that you need to do to find work you love, right? Work that you're connected to and gives you joy and allows you to make an impact and allows you to be financially successful, because that matters too, right? So whatever your biggest challenges are, I can promise you, we've seen it all and we know exactly what to do to support you through it. This is what I do every single day. This is my life's work. And I want to stress, this is not a call for people who want silver bullet solutions, okay? This is for individuals who have a desire and a calling to step into their purpose and their full potential. So if that's you, that's who I'm speaking with today. That is what I would love to connect with you and see how we can support you to get to the next level of success, right? So all you have to do is click the link. Kristen, can you put in the application link? Let me just pull it here, the one that's, let me pull it up real quick. And then what happens is after you do the application, oh, thank you, Kristen, there it is now. After you fill out the application, what happens is you then will be taken to a page to schedule your call. We have a few slots available and that's it. Okay, so to recap, click the link in the chat, the second one, the one that says forms, fill out the application. And in case you're wondering, why are we doing this? Why are we having these calls? My purpose and my mission is to help high achievers step into their purpose and their full potential. This is the work that we do here at Work Bigger. This is why we're here, right? So doing this work, stepping into your healthy self, this is part of my life's work. And if this is calling you to you today, I would love to speak with you. I would love to learn a little bit more about your challenge, what's got you stuck, and to see if Work Bigger can be a resource for you. All right, so take advantage of this opportunity. It doesn't come by every day, right? We don't throw this offer out there every single day. And the last thing I'll stress is that filling out this form is really good for your mind. It's a way to bring your healthy self online and just to also allow yourself to bring into your awareness some of your challenges and some of the things that you're struggling with. What brought you on the call today? And it's also an opportunity to sit with your goals for a little bit, right? We don't give ourselves enough space and time to claim those things. And claiming our goals and saying that those things are important to us is a big step. So fill out that form, schedule a time to chat, right? And we'll see if we can be a resource for you. And that's it. I'm going to leave a few moments for questions, and we'll also keep an eye out for the forms. All right. So I'm just going to minimize my screen here. I'm trying to. What questions do you all have? Let's take a couple of minutes to see what questions you all have, and then we can spend some time chatting. And I'm curious for those of you who are on, right? What has resonated with you so far in this conversation that we've had? Awesome. And I see some of our readers and subscribers are on. Hey, everyone. It's really good to see you. I've been navigating different screens here today, so I'm just getting a chance to see who's on. What questions do you have? Kristen, I want to learn to take massive action. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, so learning to take massive action, one of the first steps, it's a lot easier to do that when you are aware of what is the action that you're taking now? Is it massive or is it passive, right? Is it action that keeps you safe or is it action that challenges you, right? Because once you have that awareness, then you can shift. And you also want to understand what's holding you back from taking massive action today, right? What are some of those beliefs? What are some of those core wounds that you're holding that are driving your decision-making? All of that tends to happen in the subconscious, right? We're not aware of it. So to learn to take massive action, right, you have to go inward and understand what's holding you back from taking massive action today. And what does the action that you're taking look like? What are the things that you're doing? You can start by just jotting down, right? So if you're in the midst of the job search right now, and if you're in the midst of the job search right now and you're thinking like, okay, is this massive action or passive action? I want you to make a list of all of the things that you're doing, and I want you to check in with yourself. How does it feel? Does it feel like it's challenging you a little bit, like it's creating some discomfort? Or does it feel just super, right? Like, okay, like I'm just going to do this to check this off my to-do list. Right, so just notice the difference in that. It's really, really important. Awesome. I see a form from Mary. Great, Mary. We're really excited to chat with you. What other questions do we have? We have a couple more minutes here, so let me know. All right, awesome. Oh, Mike, I see your form. Thank you so much, Mike. I'm really excited to chat with you and to learn more about you and your challenge. And yeah, to see if Work Bigger can be a resource for your next steps. Awesome. What else? What else? Any other questions? Jennifer, I see your form. Amazing. Yes, super excited to chat. All right, so here's what I want to say. Kristen, if you could share the link one more time, we'll take a quick moment to wrap up. Again, I want to stress this is an opportunity to talk through your challenge and your goals and to see, right, if you can receive more support to achieve your goals. I'd love to connect with you if you are feeling called to explore this more and you want to take action. Yeah, I'd love to spend a few minutes chatting. So fill out that form, schedule your time, and that's it. And in the meantime, yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining and for being present with us. Really, really excited to have spent today with you. And again, you can find us on workbigger.co. I will send out a recording. And if anyone has any follow-up questions, you could reach us at hello@workbigger.co. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll chat soon.